So today we will continue with the international relations or the events related to international affairs. So in that, some events which are related to India or centered with India, we'll see it. So these are some of the important aspects what we have on part of today's discussion. So the first one is International Sugar Organization, followed by UN Forum on Forest. So International Court of Arbitration, Global River Cities Alliance, and the first international cruise vessel from Chennai to Sri Lanka. So all these five we try to discuss. So the first one, the International Sugar Organization. So why it was in news? So why we need to know about International Sugar Organization this year? So it was way back in 1968, it was set up in London. But why it is in news now? Okay. So actually this year in 2023, so India chaired this particular meetings of International Sugar Organization. For that reason, it becomes important for us. So sugar, one of the important commodity of export of India, and this organization consists of around 87 members, including India. And India in 2023 chaired the meeting of International Sugar Organization. Okay. So this is the reason why we need to remember this. Okay. So which country is the largest consumer and producer and consumer of sugar in the world? Which country is the largest producer and consumer of sugar in the world?
India.
India, right? So for past few years, India is the largest producer as well as consumer, right? So what are the larger markets in the world for sugar? Larger markets for sugar. So which market in the world is larger? Okay. So in the West, Brazil is one of the largest market or the largest market in the world with respect to sugar. Whereas in the eastern part of the world, so it is India. So India and Brazil. So two constitutes the largest sugar markets in the world. And India produces around 20% of the global sugar and consumes 15% of the global sugar. Okay. So this sugar is now used largely in ethanol production because the sugarcane, we have molasses. So, class A, B, C molasses, which were in use. And similarly, ethanol blending. So India is in which rank with respect to ethanol production? Or which is the largest ethanol producer in the world? Which country?
Brazil.
Huh?
Ethanol is Brazil or
Okay. So it is US, Brazil, India, right? These are the three larger countries producing ethanol, right? So USA, Brazil, India. Okay, fine. So as far as Brazil is concerned, ethanol as a fuel, largest in the world. Okay, ethanol as a fuel, largest in the world. Production wise, US, Brazil, India. Remember how the sentence is being formed. Accordingly, you have this particular question. Okay. So in India, what are the states which produces high amount of sugar? Sugar producers in India.
the UP,
Okay, Uttar Pradesh,
Maharashtra,
Maharashtra, okay, Karnataka, then Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and others. Okay, so top three are UP, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. Okay. So similarly, we have National Sugar Institute, so which is in Kanpur. So UP. So we have sugar cultivation in this. Okay. So which part of India has more sucrose content in sugarcane?
Tamil Nadu.
So in peninsular, why? Because why? The marine effect. Okay, the marine effect. So because of osmosis, so you have more sucrose content concentrated in sugar because of the saltish breeze, which influences from the marine. Okay, so these are some of the facts which you need to know with regard to International Sugar Organization, right? Fine. Now, so the next organization is the UN Forum on Forest. Okay. So we have already found forest is in news for various reasons in India because we had Forest Conservation Act in 1986, which has been amended now, and the definition of the forest has been under question in Supreme Court also, and Supreme Court wanted to continue with the former definition of forest, as well as deemed for to be forest, sacred forest or sacred groves. So all these are in news for various reasons, okay, with respect to forest. Apart from that, in the international level, UN Forum on Forest. So it's 18th summit held in New York. Okay. So this is one of the important summit which related to sustainable forest management in tropical region, especially tropical region. Right. So the questions either it can be from UN Forum, what is it, or what is forest, what is its definition already, which is in news in India. So they can link it to that. So you need to read about the definition of forest, what is a forest, and what is different types, that is reserve forest, community forest, okay, community reserve, and so on. And what is deemed to be forest, what is sacred groves, all these are in news. So which we have seen already in the questions also. So whereas as well as in the current affairs. So in this particular area, so you need to much remember about tropical forest. Okay, so try to learn about tropical forest, especially its characteristics, distribution. Okay, both world as well as within India. Okay, so its characteristics and distribution is important. Okay, so in India, what are the type of tropical forests we have in India? What are the different types of tropical forest we have in India?
Sir, we have evergreen.
Okay,
We
tropical
have
evergreen. Then,
Sir, we have the deciduous also.
okay, deciduous, fine.
Semi-evergreen we also have, sir.
Okay, semi-evergreen. Okay. So we have tropical evergreen, then tropical semi-evergreen. Okay, then we have deciduous, right?
Yes, sir.
So moist deciduous and dry deciduous.
Deciduous.
Okay. So we have four different group of tropical forest. Okay. So in this tropical evergreen and tropical semi-evergreen, where you can find tropical evergreen.
Sir, Western Ghat.
Okay.
Northeast.
So where you have heavy rainfall, okay, more than 200 centimeter rainfall. So where all you have 200 to 250 and above. So western parts of Western Ghats. So northeastern India. So all these pockets you have Andaman Nicobar, Lakshadweep. So all these regions you have evergreen. Semi-evergreen. So the leadward side, that is the eastern part of Western Ghats. And the Tarai region, those regions we have semi-evergreen. Moist and dry deciduous. Moist deciduous. So about 100 to 150 centimeters, right? So whereas in Eastern Ghats region, and in dry deciduous, so 75 to 100, centimeters of rainfall, those region, right? So we have dry deciduous region, central India, so towards Chotanagpur Plateau, like those region. So what is the dominant tree in dry deciduous? Sal, right? Whereas in moist deciduous, so you have teak,
Rosewood.
then you have sandalwood. Okay, likewise. So very hard trees. So generally, the moist deciduous is very important because we use this particular forest for lumbering, timber. Okay, so this timber is very commercially exploited than the dry deciduous timber. Okay, fine. So in NCERT and all, you have the picture of your distribution of forest. So tropical evergreen, tropical deciduous, okay, mountain forest, mangrove, tropical thorn. Okay, so in tropical you have the shrub forest, that is thorn forest. So that is also another tropical variety what we have. Fine. So try to understand the distribution and try to have. So remember the tropical thorn forest occurs in central part of India, Deccan also, as well as the western part. Okay. So then the distribution of mangroves. Mangroves we have few in Gujarat also, and the eastern part of eastern coast. Right. So all these areas. So try to have the general idea of tropical vegetation. So in that types, characters and distribution, the differences, why it occurs in this particular area, and dominant trees. So in which area tigers are prevalent? Which forest? Tropical evergreen or deciduous, moist or dry?
Sir, moist deciduous. Dry deciduous. Deciduous.
Okay. So generally deciduous, you have large, moist deciduous, you have large amount of tiger, concentration of tiger population, but it can survive in tropical evergreen also. But the thing is, the topography should be mixed topography. That's all. So it should have some forest, some plains, shrubs, marshy terrain. So that particular combination, wherever it is happening, it can survive. But it has a very good adaptability to the deciduous type of forest, right? Okay. Because its body can easily match for ambushing. Okay, that is the reason why it is possible. Okay, fine. But in evergreen and those areas, so you have a good amount of other herbivores, especially elephants, so they can thrive in those regions, right? Okay. So dominant trees, dominant animal species, so what they have. So try to have an idea with respect to tropical. Okay, and similarly, we have also seen in the question papers what we have attempted, the problems, what the tropical forest faces, like forest fire, likewise. So many other aspects also we have discussed. So try to have understanding about tropical forest, what has its what are all its problems and what are all the steps taken towards it, okay, to address these problems. Now, so International Court of Arbitration, this is a 100 years celebration or anniversary. So that is the reason we have this particular thing in news. And here, remember, in 1923, it was set up, okay, in Paris. And it was almost 90 countries members in that. Please don't confuse with the Permanent Court of Arbitration. Okay. So these two are completely different. This is a UN related organization, whereas this is a private organization. Private in the sense it is completely an organization which was set up by the International Chamber of Commerce. So the largest and most represented business organization in the world. So this has a court of arbitration across the globe that we call it as International Court of Arbitration, which was set up by International Chamber of Commerce, right? And remember, this particular International Court of Arbitration doesn't do with any judgments. Okay, they don't have any judgments because this is arbitration. So they have only advisories, they have proceedings or advisories which are provided, which will be adhered by the members. Okay, so it will be consisting of group of arbitrators from different countries, and they try to resolve the disputes between the business organizations across the globe. Whereas the Permanent Court of Arbitration, which is in The Hague, in Netherlands. So this is on the basis of the UN Charter. So they had it. And it is also not a permanent court. It is just a court of arbitrators where a permanent panel of arbitrators will be there and they try to resolve issues. But this is completely different. And this is also not binding against non-members and others. It is just an arbitration what they can provide. This is the one which goes with the disputes between the territorial territories and other aspects, especially under UN clause and all, the disputes are resolved through a permanent court of arbitration also. Okay, there are tribunals separately, but we have the arbitration which happens. Say, for example, China versus others in South China Sea. So permanent court of arbitration was put in place. Okay, whereas this is the oldest one. So 1899 itself, we had set up it in Hague, whereas this is 1923 we had. Okay, so don't confuse it. So simply what they will do, they will just put International Court of Arbitration and they will provide the provisions of Permanent Court of Arbitration, and they will provide 2 or 3 sentences and try to confuse you. Okay, so remember, this is something a different arbitration for business, whereas this is for states, the nations, among the nations, UN members. Got it? So this is completely different. So this is one of the important organization which is in use. So already we saw a couple of classes before International Court of Justice and now International Court of Arbitration. So they can also have certain clauses between these two organizations interchanged and provided. So try to have awareness about these two organizations. Okay.
So, one
Yeah.
question, sir. So, like, can the International Court of Arbitration deal with the private cases or only with the state cases?
Which one? This one. International Court of,
it
is
for
for the business
permanent court of,
organizations.
no, sir, sir, permanent court of
Permanent
arbitration.
court, it will only for the state.
Okay, sir.
So they go with the member states. So their disputes under UNCLOS or other your EEZ, all these aspects will be taken care in this. Okay. Whereas International Court of Arbitration is purely business. Yeah. Okay. Now, the Global River Cities Alliance. So this is one of the older one, which is again in news for various reasons. So this particular River Cities Alliance, which was started in 2021, became global in COP 28, right, in Dubai in 23. So this particular River Cities Alliance in India was started by National Mission for Clean Ganga, right? National Mission for Clean Ganga, plus your National Institute for Urban Affairs. So National Institute of Urban Affairs, they had River Cities Alliance, right? And this particular River City Alliance with the global perspective, where we started having MOUs in the Dubai COP, and it became Global River City Alliance. So naturally it is centered with India. Okay. So in COP, what happened was an MOU was signed between group of countries, sorry, group of cities across Mississippi River. So Mississippi River, you know, in USA. So it has around 124 cities, towns across this particular long river. Cities, towns, everything coming along the banks. So with these group, which is there, the authority and this particular National Mission for Clean Ganga, they had an agreement, and that is how the massive Global River Cities Alliance started. So we had many countries coming together, like India, Egypt. We had even in among our neighbors, Bhutan, okay, then Cambodia, Japan, okay, Denmark, Netherlands, so Ghana, Australia. So there were many such countries. They came together for River Cities Alliance, and we had more than 275 plus cities across 11 countries under this particular program. Okay. So what they actually do, they try to have some broad themes like networking, capacity building, okay, capacity building. Then we have technical support among the cities. So they will have some sister cities kind of. Okay. So similarly, we have river cities. So all these river cities, they may have some problems which are unique, some problems which are similar. So we try to have sharing of best practices and so on. So initially in India, we started with 30 cities across India, which are river cities, and we started to share information among these cities. Right. So totally we have around 275 plus cities across 11 countries under this program, which was a joint initiative of you can see two important organizations under which the River Alliance is undertaken by ministry level. So we have Jal Shakti, so you Ministry of Jal Shakti, as well as Ministry of Urban Affairs, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So they try to have collaboration in launching this event. So National Mission for Clean Ganga under Jal Shakti and National Institute of Urban Affairs under Housing and Urban Affairs. So they try to coordinate all these activities in this event. Okay. So remember this. This is one of the important things. So similarly, try to understand cities in across Ganga, okay, cities across Brahmaputra, Yamuna, okay, Yamuna cities. Okay. So those cities which are there in river across rivers and so on, or some cities which are not known to you. Say among the 30 cities, some unique cities or some cities which you may not know the river bank. So they can be asked as a master following and so on. Just have a skim through those cities and rivers. Don't just by heart it. So you need not require to by heart. Just unknown cities, one or two, some unknown rivers which you have. Just you try to have some remembrance that can help you a lot. Okay. So in general, you try to have an idea on city distribution across Ganga, Brahmaputra, Yamuna, and so on. Okay. So similarly, European rivers, it is in news for various reasons, drought and others. So European rivers and cities or ports. So they were also in news for a very long period of time. Last year also they were in news because of drought, but they didn't ask much. So this time they can. So you can correlate this in this particular global city, river city alliance also. Okay. So Seine River, the cities are along the Seine River, River Rhine. So cities along the River Rhine or ports along the River Rhine, which got struck. Okay. So those aspects you try to have it. Okay.
Sir, what is the 2021, sir? Sir, what was
This
what
is the
was
one which was launched in 2021, the RCA, River Cities
Yeah.
Alliance.
But like it has become global in COP
Yeah,
28.
yeah.
Got it.
Then, so first international cruise vessel from Chennai to Sri Lanka. So recently, we had an agreement in 2022 between Sri Lanka and India to restart the ferry services and other services to between the two countries. So way back, we had many interlinking services between India and Sri Lanka with respect to sea waterways, right? So seaways. But later it got um, struck because of wars, because of instability in Sri Lanka. So these services have been cut off. So again, they started. So recently, we had previously you can see that in way back in this particular there is the transportation between these two countries was way back in 1914 itself. We had networks. Say for example, we have a train services called Rameshwaram Boat Rail. Okay, so this was suspended in 1982. So actually, what happens is that from Chennai, there will be one express. There is express which starts from Chennai to Rameshwaram, and from Rameshwaram there will be a boat service to Colombo, right? Jaffna. Okay, so Jaffna region. So from Rameshwaram to Jaffna region, so you have this particular boat service, and later there will be a train which connects that particular small port, and it will that is the port city in Rameshwaram, and it will go to Chennai. This is how it was there since 1914. In 1982, when there was the revolt starting in Sri Lanka, this boat service alone has been cancelled, but the train is still moving. And later, after this, after 1980s, there were not much things between we had. And later in 2011, so we had another attempt to establish connectivity between these two from Thoothukudi in Tamil Nadu to Colombo. They started shipping services, but unfortunately, within 6 months, it stopped, okay, because of some political issues and the Chinese influence. It stopped. So almost it was no much of connectivity was there, but still there were the formal passenger service once in a while. It was there from Chennai. We have, okay. So Chennai to Sri Lanka, it was always there. It was all the commercial and passenger services was there. But these areas, that is Rameshwaram to the cultural connect, Rameshwaram to Colombo or Tuticorin to Colombo, so that was not happening. So way back in 2023, so what happened? We have two important things which happened. One is this first international cruise vessel which started from Chennai to Sri Lanka, which is nothing but a private cruise provider. So we have MV Empress. So the Cordezilla company, they operate this particular cruise, an international cruise between Chennai to Sri Lanka. And it actually passes through three important ports of Sri Lanka. Okay, so first it goes to Kankesandurai Harbor, which is near Jaffna, right? So from Rameshwar, Chennai, it reaches there. And then it reaches Tirukonamale, so this particular point, and then it reaches Hambantota. So it reaches Hambantota. So this is how this particular 3 points are connected. It is not to Colombo, it is for this particular region. Okay, so Kankesandurai, Tirukonamale, and then Hambantota, right? So and then it returns back to Chennai in this particular manner. Okay, this is cruise vessel, which is a tourism aspect. Another thing what we had is we had a ferry services, normal ferry service, which was there between Nagapattinam to Kankesandurai. Okay, so this is from Nagapattinam to Kankesandurai, which is a very short distance. So they started having ferry services established. Okay, so this particular ferry service is established by the government itself. So unlike this is private, okay, whereas this ferry service is government. Okay, so the government of India and the government of Tamil Nadu in collaboration to each other. So they have this particular Nagapattinam to Kankesandurai ferry services operated. So here we have the Shipping Corporation of India and the Tamil Nadu Maritime Board. So both operates this particular passenger service, which we call it as the high-speed craft. Chariya Pani. Chariya Pani. So this is a these two are important event which happens between Chennai and Sri Lanka or Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka with respect to the sea linkage, right? So one is from Chennai to Sri Lanka, which is connecting all three ports, major ports. That is a cruise vessel, okay? Whereas the ferry services at a cheaper rate, it goes with Nagapattinam to Kankesandurai, but though it is short, they charge around 7,000 and odd rupees, which is much costlier than the air services. But still, so this is operated as of now, recently, as a part of linkages. Clear? So try to understand about Park Strait, Park Bay. Okay, these because this region completely it surrounds with a Park Bay, where the connectivity comes in, and especially the Adams Bridge region. And similarly, you have this Gulf of Mannar region. So all these aspects. Okay. So Park Strait, you know that it is named after the British governor of Madras Presidency at that time, Robert Park. So on his name, we had this particular Park Strait and Park Bay. And in map, you just have an idea from which part to which part. Okay, Rameshwaram. Because all these areas were there in news for various reasons, politically as well as culturally. So Rameshwaram, Madurai, and those regions. So this particular region map wise, they can also ask you, say for example, Kulasegarapatnam, many things were happening. So with the map, which place or which port is near to Nagapattinam, near to Chennai, near to Thoothukudi, likewise, so they can ask. So some of the major ports, what you have, Port of Colombo, the largest port of Sri Lanka, and Port Gale, the second largest, and then you have Port Ambandota, which is Chinese port, Tekonamale, and then we have Port Padero, or we had Kankesandurai. So all these ports, try to have a look upon the map and with the map of India. So which are all the parts which are linked towards it. With that part, you can have it. Yeah. Fine. So these are some of the important topics for today. Thank you.
It's one question, sir.